Imagine waking up to a fire in the harbor, a burning ship drifting slowly toward the city, crowds gathering to watch, firefighters responding, and then, in less than a second, the most powerful man-made explosion prior to the atomic bomb. Nearly 3,000 people dead, an entire district erased. This is the story of the Halifax explosion, when a collision at sea became a catastrophe no one could escape. I'm retired Fire Chief Stephen Gentile. This is The Burning Oath.
Halifax was one of the busiest ports in North America, a critical wartime hub. Cargo ships, naval vessels, relief supplies. The morning of December 6 was calm, clear skies, still water. Nothing in the air suggested catastrophe, but beneath the deck of one incoming vessel lay a floating arsenal of TNT, picric acid, and gun cotton. At 8:45 a.m., two ships met in the Narrows. A navigation error, a last-second maneuver. Steel scraped against steel. The impact seemed survivable. Then sparks ignited vaporized fuel, and the ship began to burn. Residents gathered along the waterfront, watching, pointing. A burning ship was not unusual in wartime. Firefighters responded toward the vessel. No one understood the danger drifting toward them. The ship carried nearly 3,000 tons of explosives. At 9:04 a.m., the ship exploded, a flash brighter than the sun, a fireball rising thousands of feet. The blast wave moved faster than sound, flattening buildings, shattering glass miles away. The harbor itself became a weapon. Entire neighborhoods vanished in seconds. Nearly 3,000 people killed, thousands more injured. Fires ignited across the ruins. Streets disappeared beneath debris. Survivors staggered through a landscape that no longer resembled a city. Halifax was shattered. Rescue operations began immediately. Doctors, firefighters, soldiers, civilians, working through smoke, fire, and freezing temperatures. The injured numbered in the thousands. The Halifax explosion changed disaster response forever. Emergency medicine, blast injury treatment, urban safety planning. It revealed the unimaginable force of industrial-scale explosions. Halifax is remembered not for the explosion itself, but for the lives lost in a single, irreversible moment. This is the Burning Oath. Remember the past, learn from disaster, never forget. The Halifax explosion was not just large. It was physics at its most violent. The ship carried nearly 3,000 tons of high explosives. When it detonated, the energy release rivaled a small nuclear weapon. Temperatures surged instantly. Pressure waves moved faster than sound. The blast flattened structures, hurled debris for miles, and generated a shockwave powerful enough to circle the globe. The shockwave became the deadliest weapon. Windows shattered instantly across Halifax. Thousands were blinded by flying glass. Buildings collapsed without warning. Entire neighborhoods were crushed before many heard the sound of the blast. Survivors later described the sensation of the air itself turning solid. And then came the fires. Stoves overturned. Lamps ignited debris. Rubble became fuel. Across the shattered city, fire followed the blast, turning destruction into an ongoing emergency. Halifax became a turning point in disaster response. Emergency medicine evolved rapidly. Trauma care improved. Urban planning began to consider blast effects. The catastrophe reshaped how cities prepare for industrial and transportation hazards. The Halifax explosion reminds us that disasters do not always begin as disasters. Sometimes they begin as routine. A ship entering a harbor, a small fire, a crowd watching from a distance. If you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel for more in-depth stories on the Burning Oath.